So after clicking on this video, you may be wondering, what the heck is a floater flip? And that is exactly the same question a lot of pro riders were asking at the 2019 World Freeskating competition, when a rider by the name of Yuki came in with this trick and completely swept the whole thing. Because nobody else knew this trick, he was able to dominate. So today I'm going to be teaching you how to do this trick. Before we get into the how-to, I think it's important to explain how this trick works. So what happens is the back skate needs to tilt and rest onto the front skate, and then you put your toe under the skate to flip it upward and catch it as it comes back down. Seems pretty simple, but you'll find it does take a bit of practice. So the first step is getting used to that tilt. So to practice this tilt, you need to move that back foot close to the outer edge of the skate, or at least a little closer so that you have some leverage to tilt it. You'll find that if you put your foot too far to the edge of the skate, you might lose control of the tilt and lose the skate altogether. So make sure you keep your foot at least halfway on the skate. Feel free to do the same with your front foot to give it a little bit of room for that back skate, but it's not entirely necessary. All right, so once you've got that tilt down, move that back skate up to your front skate, and it's gonna be on this corner right here. You need to tilt the skate, move them together so that it hooks, and then the bottom of the skates are gonna look like this. The trucks need to be hugging, they need to be really close to each other and parallel. If they're not in this parallel and locked position, it's gonna be hard for you to keep the skate from rolling away from you. Once you have this position down, it's time to start the flip. So what I like to do is go directly into the flip. So in one swift motion, put my back foot under the back skate and flip it up and not give any time in between. The other thing you can do is actually wait a bit and rest your foot under your skate until you're ready to actually pull up. Like I said, I like to just go straight to the flip. One thing to note about this lock is it acts a little bit differently depending on whether or not you have edge guards. With premium edge guards, you'll find that the lock is really snug, and that is a good thing for this trick. You also have a bit more of a lip to get your toe in and under so that you can flip it up. With the other edge guards, and especially no edge guards at all, it is not so snug. So you need to make sure you get to that flip position quickly so that you don't lose the skate and therefore lose the whole trick. So to recap so far, make sure you're tilting your back skate and then lock it onto your front skate with the trucks parallel and next to each other. And then you can move on to the flip, where what I like to do is in one swift motion, put my toe under the opposite corner of the back skate, pull up, and then as it comes down, stomp the skate. When you're practicing this, you'll find that the skate might flip halfway or 1.5, or it's gonna land behind you or in front of you. Just experiment with this. Depending on where the skate lands, take note of what you did wrong. So for example, if it landed too far behind you, maybe you didn't pull forward in the direction of motion enough. This trick does take a while to dial in, so just be patient with yourself. And then another thing I noticed while I was practicing at first was my big toe started to hurt quite a bit when I practice this over and over again. So if you start to feel some of that pain in your toe, definitely take a break and then come back to it later. And then I would say the main thing that makes this trick so difficult is the weight distribution. So for one, if you're not used to being on one foot to start with, this trick is probably gonna be difficult for you unless you're moving directly to the flip really quickly without any pause in between. But even if you do know how to one foot, this is a bit of a new position if you haven't tried a floater flip before. So experiment with leaning further forward, further backward, try to find that middle ground. It'll definitely take some practice, but just take your time with it so you can find that happy medium between forward and backward. Another important thing is this trick needs a little bit of speed to practice correctly. It's not one of those tricks you can just practice stationary unless you're doing it with your hands like this. That's a good way to understand how the lock actually works. But once you're on your feet, you do want some speed going. And then once you get this trick down at a normal speed, I would challenge you to try it at some faster speeds to see how fast you can go while doing this trick. There's a lot of different cool things you can do with this trick that are still being invented to this day. Some of these combos include a floater flip into Tokyo, a floater flip into inverse Tokyo, a floater flip switch it, a floater flip kickflip switch it, double floater flip. So if you're a more advanced free skater, feel free to try some of those. As I said earlier, you can still practice this trick if you don't know how to one foot, but I will say knowing how to one foot really well is going to go a long way for helping you land this trick. So if you don't already know how to one foot, I would recommend checking out this tutorial right here or in the description. As always, let me know if you have any questions at all in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and roll with us.